One of the things about life that bothers a lot of people is the uncertainty of the future. If it was possible for you to know everything that you would undergo, all the sufferings and pains that you would have to go through in your life beforehand, would you take it? I would argue that knowing what you're going to suffer before you do it would be much more difficult. It would be a much heavier burden to carry. Knowing all the things that you are going to have to suffer beforehand, that would be a heavy weight to carry. I think this is part of God's mercy in keeping our future uncertain from us, a little bit hidden from us, because He gives us the grace to take things one step at a time. But this is not the case for Jesus. In the gospel today, we hear that He predicts His death. In one sense, we can all predict our death, and the fact that we know that we are going to die. But He's very particular. He knows exactly the way in which He will die. He predicts this many times in the gospel. Today He says that He will be mocked, He will be spit upon, He will be flogged, He will be handed over to the Gentiles. In other parts of the Gospels, He says that He will be lifted up, so referring to crucifixion in that regard. He knows the immense suffering that He is going to endure. I would imagine that would be a very heavy burden on His shoulders to know the suffering that is coming. But you see in the way that He lived His life, He lived it with joy, with service. He still preached the gospel. He still enjoyed His time with His disciples. He still healed people. These very people that were the reason for His sufferings. It is you and I, our sins, and the sins of the people of Israel at that time, the sins of the world for which Jesus died. Yet He did not allow His future sufferings to stop Him from living in the present moment and serving those around Him. It's a great truth for us. Brothers and sisters, let us live in this present moment now and not worry about the future and not worry about the sufferings that we may or may not have to endure. All we must do is simply trust that when the time comes for us to endure suffering, God will be there with us. He will give us the strength and the grace to carry these crosses, just as He did with Jesus. And so let Jesus' life be an example for you. Let Him in the gospel today, let His words in the gospel today inspire you. He knew the way He was to die, yet He did not let that disturb His peace in the moment. He lived from moment to moment, always trusting that God's love and providence would provide for Him whatever He needed. May that be the great message of hope for you today. God bless you.